So for this, I'll go to mountain hiking, click choose file, and I prepared those images which I had in my project folder before on my desktop folder here as well, so that I can pick them from there. So I'll choose that file, leave the rest as it is, and click save. Now this was saved, and if we quickly check our uploads folder, indeed in there we have a posts folder, and there we have the mountains JPEG file. So this was uploaded. I can now also delete this images folder in the static folder, which we used before, because I'm not using that anymore. We'll only use the uploads folder now. So uploading works, and therefore I'll update the other posts as well. Like programming is great. Pick the appropriate image there, upload this and save the updated post. Also nature at its best. Here I'll take this image, upload this, save this, and last but not least, almost done. Here I'll take this image, upload this, and save this. And now all these images are updated. We could of course also add a new post. But with that, we have our images there, but now uploaded. And that's of course the more realistic flow which we want to have. Now let's make sure we also serve those uploaded images. When it comes to serving images, we got a couple of things to do. For example, in our templates of our blog app, there in all the places where we display images, we have to change how we want to display them. For example, in our post include, here currently we're using the static tag to display images which we expect to find in our static folder. That's no longer the case. Instead of using this approach, we now want to interpolate a value here instead of using the static tag, and we simply want to access post.image.url. Post.image because I picked image as a field name here, and then you learned in the file uploads section that images stored with help of a model, or files in general stored with help of a model, do have a couple of nested properties. For example, this URL property, which gives us the URL to that image. Now we also no longer need to load static here in post HTML because we're not using the static tag here anymore. Now on the post detail HTML file, it's similar. There I also previously included my static image. Now I'll replace this here with an interpolation where I also access post.image.url. Here we need to keep load static at the top because I am using static in other places in this HTML file as well. But the image should now be loaded correctly here. Now with that we adjusted the templates, but still right now it wouldn't work. If we try to load our starting page, we don't see the image here. And actually here I just noticed I made a mistake because I deleted my max image here, which I didn't want to delete. So in the static folder, I should bring that back in the blog subfolder, images, because that's one image on the starting page which shouldn't be uploaded, but which indeed is a static image that should be hard-coded. So I'll just bring back max.png here, so that if I reload, this image is back. Because this is not one of our uploaded images, this really is a static file which should be part of our source code because it's not dynamically generated. But back to the uploaded images. They are currently not being served, as we can see down there. And this makes sense because you learned that out of the box, Django does not provide access to your entire file system here to the outside world. That's a security mechanism. So if we want to serve files from one of our folders here, we explicitly have to tell Django. And we do this in our root URL configuration, so in our project subfolder urls.py, by adding a plus after the URL patterns list, so by adding something to that, so to say, and then there we need to import something from Django. From Django conf to be precise, and there, from urls.static, we want to import the static function. so that we can call this static function here. And then this function needs to know the URL, which it should serve to the outside world, and then what the concrete folder in our file system should be that should be served under that URL. And we want to get both values from our configuration. So from Django conf, I'll import settings. And then the first value here, which is that URL, should be settings.media URL. The second parameter which I want to pass here is the document root keyword argument, where I want to point at settings.media root. So that this defines the folder where the servable files live, and this defines the URL under which these files should be reachable. And now with that adjustment, our images should be back. If I reload here, you should be able to see your images now, also if you visit the individual blog posts here, and also on the all posts page. So this is working now. We do see our images here, and we now implemented file upload successfully.